Friday, November 21st looks calm on the surface, but Salem is seconds away from breaking. A child crosses a dangerous line. A doctor uncovers a DeMera secret. A scientist goes too far. And a silent girl finally speaks, with words no one is ready for. Today isn't loud. It's lethal. And nothing in Salem will be the same. The episode opens with a suffocating silence inside the pub, the kind that clings to the walls after something truly frightening has happened. Sarah sits at the table, her hands trembling faintly as she lifts a glass of water. Her breathing is uneven, every inhale just a little too tight, as if her body still remembers the moment her throat began to close. The redness on her neck hasn't completely faded, and the fear in her eyes certainly hasn't either. Brady stands beside her, tense and protective, his shoulders stiff, his jaw clenched, his eyes scanning every tiny change in Sarah's condition. He's not just shaken, he's terrified, because he knows how close he came to losing her. And then, the pub door creaks open. Rachel walks in, but it's how she walks in that chills the room. No frantic footsteps, no tears running down her cheeks, no nervous fidgeting. Instead, she moves with a slow, methodical calm, the steady gait of someone who thought about this moment, prepared for it, and is now stepping into the next phase of her plan. Brady stiffens. "Rachel," he says, voice trembling, "come here a moment." She looks at him, not with innocence, but with calculation. Brady hesitates, then forces himself to ask the question he never imagined he'd have to ask his own daughter. "Rachel, did you give those pistachios to Sarah on purpose?" For a split second, the entire pub goes silent. Even the background chatter dies out, as if Salem itself is waiting for the answer. But Rachel does not answer. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't cry. She doesn't deny anything. Instead, she turns her head and studies Sarah, really studies her, with a cold detachment that no child should ever possess. Her eyes move slowly, almost clinically, across Sarah's face. Down her neck, where the allergic swelling had started. To the faint discoloration still lingering on her skin. It's the gaze of someone checking results. It's the gaze of someone who expected a reaction, and is now evaluating why it didn't go far enough. Sarah tries to soften the moment, her voice gentle but shaky. "Rachel, sweetheart, I'm okay. These things happen. I know you didn't mean to, but that kindness snaps something inside Rachel." Her expression hardens, not into sorrow, but into something darker. A child's face shouldn't be capable of such coldness, and yet here it is. She stares directly at Sarah and says, with perfect clarity, "I don't want her here." The words hit Brady like a punch to the chest. This is not a tantrum. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a declaration. Rachel wants Sarah gone, out of Brady's life, out of their home, out of their world. Brady's voice cracks as he asks again, "Rachel, answer me. Did you do this on purpose?" Rachel remains silent. No guilt, no fear, no remorse. Only a chilling, steady gaze that tells Brady everything he needs to know, and nothing he wants to admit. Finally, Rachel turns and walks toward the door. Her footsteps echo in the quiet pub, each one more unnerving than the last. But she stops before exiting. She looks over her shoulder, directly at Sarah, then at Brady, and delivers a warning that feels less like a threat and more like a promise. This isn't over. And in that moment, the truth becomes undeniable. Rachel isn't confused. She isn't acting out. She isn't overwhelmed. She is calculating. And she has just declared a silent, dangerous war on Brady's future with Sarah, a war she intends to win. Across Salem, the sterile lights of the hospital cast a calm glow over the corridors, but inside Kayla's office, the atmosphere shifts the moment E.J. DeMera walks in. Kayla is reviewing Marlena's latest test data, her brow furrowed in concern. Marlena's condition is stable, but the results don't look quite right. Something is affecting her numbers, something Kayla can't yet explain. Then she hears a soft knock. E.J. enters with the refined grace of a man who always believes he's in control. His suit is immaculate. His expression is calm. His tone is polite, too polite. "Dr. Johnson," he says smoothly. "I was hoping to check on Marlena's progress. As family, of course." Kayla sets the chart down and studies him carefully. E.J. DiMera has always been a master of charm, but Kayla has seen this mask before. It's the same mask Stefano wore. The same mask Kristen perfected. The same mask every DiMera uses when they're hiding something. At first, the conversation seems innocent. But then EJ's questions start drifting into territory Kayla didn't expect. He asks about blood panels, about neurological tests, about treatment protocols that only medical professionals would typically understand. And he asks with a level of detail that immediately sets off alarm bells. Kayla's posture stiffens. "Why exactly are you asking about these tests?" she presses. EJ smiles, a polite, rehearsed, DiMera smile. "Just concerned for my family," he replies. But his eyes don't match his tone. There's tension beneath the surface, a flicker of worry, or guilt, or something darker. After EJ leaves, Kayla decides to double-check Marlena's digital chart, something she normally wouldn't do after hours. What she finds makes her stomach drop. Unauthorized access. Someone accessed Marlena's records late at night. Someone who shouldn't have been anywhere near them. And the login traces back to the DiMera side of the hospital's network. Not a random glitch. Not a careless nurse. Someone specific. Someone deliberate. Someone connected to EJ. Kayla sits back in her chair, connecting dots she didn't want to see. Why would a DiMera need Marlena's medical records? What are they looking for? And what does this have to do with the strange symptoms showing up in Marlena's tests? Kayla's expression changes, her eyes narrow, her jaw tightens, and her voice becomes low and steady. She's not just a doctor now. She's an investigator, and EJ has no idea that Kayla's suspicion has officially begun. She may not confront him today, but she is watching. She is thinking, and she is dangerously close to discovering something the DiMeras wanted buried. Far beneath Salem, deeper than any hospital basement, deeper than any DiMera tunnel, lies a lab that was never meant to exist. The air is heavy, metallic, almost suffocating. The only light comes from flickering monitors and the slow pulsing glow of machines that hum like they're alive. Rolf stands at the center of it all, calm, meticulous, consumed. And Mark Green stands beside him, but unlike Rolf, Mark looks like a man who regrets ever stepping into this hidden world. The crate delivered earlier in the week sits open now, its contents concealed under thick, medical-grade sheeting. Whatever lies beneath it is large enough to unsettle Mark, and sacred enough for Rolf to hover over like a priest guarding a sacred relic. Rolf checks a series of tubes connected to a massive cylindrical chamber. He whispers to himself, or maybe to the figure inside the chamber, in a voice laced with obsession. The host is almost ready. The transfer must be timed perfectly. If this works, he'll be stronger than before. Mark swallows hard. This isn't what he signed up for. He thought they were studying memory, behavior, neuro-pattern mapping. He never expected this. "Rolf," Mark finally says, his voice shaking, "are we absolutely sure this is the right thing to do? This feels wrong, dangerous, uncontrolled." Rolf slowly turns his head, and the look in his eyes is chilling. Not angry, not offended, certain. "The question is not whether it is right, Mark," Rolf says, stepping closer. His voice drops to a whisper, heavy with intent. "The question is whether it is necessary." Mark takes a step back. Necessary for what? Rolf returns to his console, typing commands with manic precision. The screens begin to show familiar outlines, a skeletal structure, a facial silhouette, the forming of someone unmistakably human. The questions swirl. Are they reviving a long-dead DiMera heir? Are they rebuilding a villain Salem buried decades ago? Are they resurrecting a twin, again? Or has Rolf finally crossed into territory even he shouldn't touch? The show doesn't reveal the identity. Not yet. But Rolf does give one last clue, and his voice carries the weight of a prophecy. He has slept long enough. Salem needs him again. Whoever he is, his return is going to blow Salem off its axis. The atmosphere shifts completely at Bayview. Gone are the bright hospital lights and the frantic chaos of the pub. Here, everything feels still, suspended. Wrong. Sophia sits in a small therapy room, upright, motionless, staring straight ahead. Her eyes are open, but empty, as if her mind has stepped out of her body and forgotten to return. Aaron sits across from her, hands wringing together, eyes filled with worry and guilt. He leans forward. "It's me," he says softly. "Sophia, I'm here. You're safe. You don't have to be afraid. Just say something, anything." Nothing. Sophia doesn't blink, doesn't turn her head, doesn't react to the sound of his voice. To Aaron, it feels like trying to talk to a ghost trapped inside a living shell. His voice breaks. "Please, just let me know you can hear me." Still nothing. Aaron presses his hand gently over hers, and in that moment, we see the depth of his fear. He isn't just worried that Sophia is slipping away. He's terrified she's already gone. The silence stretches on, until something changes. Sophia's fingertips twitch. Her lips tremble. Her breathing stutters, the first sign of life in days. Aaron shoots upright, afraid to even move. "Sophia?" he whispers. And then, in a voice so small it barely exists, she speaks. "Not Sophia?" 2 words. 2 words that rip the floor out from under Aaron. He jerks back, shaking his head as if refusing to believe what he just heard. "No," he says. "No, Sophia, it's you. I know it's you. You're just confused. You're just," but the look on her face, the emptiness behind her eyes, tells him otherwise. If this isn't Sophia, then who is it? A personality implant? A memory override? A transferred consciousness from Rolf's experiment? What did Rolf and Mark put inside her? Sophia's head lowers slightly, like her body is struggling against something we can't see, something battling for control. Friday doesn't give us answers. It gives us fear, and the terrifying possibility that Sophia Horton might be gone, replaced by something, or someone, else entirely. As the episode winds down, Salem falls into a deceptive quiet, the kind of calm that only exists right before a storm destroys everything in its path. But the camera sees everything. Rachel, standing just a few feet from the pub entrance, stares back inside at Brady and Sarah. Her expression is blank, but her eyes burn with calculation. She's planning her next move. Kayla sits alone in her office, Marlena's chart glowing on her computer screen. Her finger hovers over the Access Logs tab. She knows what she saw. She knows Adamara touched these files. And she knows EJ is hiding something that could affect Marlena's life, or someone else's. Rolf stands beside his machines, his face illuminated by the cold, eerie glow of the experiment. A small smile crawls across his lips. The smile of a man who believes he's about to reshape the world. And Aaron remains seated in the therapy room, holding Sophia's hand in complete disbelief. His eyes are red. His voice is gone. His heart is breaking, because the girl in front of him whispered a truth too horrifying to process. The episode doesn't need an explosion. It doesn't need a shocking twist. It ends with dread, heavy, lingering, suffocating. Friday, November 21st doesn't close storylines. It detonates them. A dangerous child who knows exactly what she's capable of. A Damara secret that threatens to spill into the open. A resurrection experiment entering its final phase. A stolen identity that could destroy multiple lives. A girl whose mind may not belong to her anymore. And as the screen fades to black, one message echoes louder than any cliffhanger. Salem isn't ready for what comes next. Because the darkness is already